I want to talk about the beginning here where your friends are kind of hiding or even tricking you into performing. I don't want to say there's a lack of confidence in that because I don't see that ever in Jon Stork, a lack of confidence, but perhaps more of a maybe some speculation on music being a career for you perhaps at the time. So what I want to know from you is how did you evolve from that? Like, I'm going to focus on school, we'll dabble in music on the side. Oh my gosh, my friend brought my guitar, and now you're talking about let's do shows, let's do releases, let's write songs, and now you're out there, you put yourself out there. So how'd that happen? What was that transition like?
So it was not fast. It was probably we're talking 3 to 4 years
Yeah.
between the getting tricked into playing and then going um, and getting the ultimatum from a boss at a bar.
Hmm.
Um, and it wasn't. I don't think it was a lack of confidence. It was just I didn't really see myself playing music
Yeah.
full time because I grew up around everybody I knew had a job,
Right.
and so that
And a lot of
wasn't.
people will think that music is not a real job. So like that can kind of be the mentality for somebody like yourself, especially who grew up on a farm and is used to ranching and all of that real job work ethic kind of thing. And now oh my gosh, music's not a real job. I can't do that. I got to go to school. I got to, so that can work against you.
Absolutely, and it does. Whether anybody's talking about it or not, it's
Right.
mentally it's working against you, and around the clock.
Absolutely.
But I can tell you one thing: I've had full time jobs. I've been salaried. I've been this, that, and the other. I've never worked so hard in my life as
Yeah.
I am right now.
Yeah.
So next time you see somebody playing guitar on the corner, or you see somebody that's playing in the little bar down the street that is $5 a ticket, even if you don't go put $5 in there.
Hmm.
Um, it's, it's more rewarding at the end of the day than a cup of coffee. But I'm okay. I'm down. But
It's true.
man, the 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 transition, it came out of some advice that I got from Pat Green.
Mm.
He said, "Man, go find the worst job you can find until it's time for you to play music." And it wasn't the worst job. I started out washing pizza pans. I moved back. I was traveling the country. I was working. I was playing guitar. I had been writing songs following that being tricked into playing around.
Hmm.
And I never stopped writing. I think What Makes a Woman, or I'm sorry, not What Makes a Woman, Taking My Time was written probably somewhere around that time that I was just getting started. Um, and I think when it all comes down to it, uh, you know, I found the job, and they said, "No, we don't want you washing pizza pans. Go serve some pizzas." And I said, "Okay, all right, sounds good." And they said, "Man, you're really good with the customers. You talk a lot, and you got a lot of stories. You ever make any drinks?" And I said, "I've never made a drink ever behind a bar. Not that I was welcome behind." And they said, "Well, here's a book. Go learn how to make some drinks." And I was a bartender down the road from where I was living in Houston and going to the University of Houston. And I got picked up by another bar working in Houston. They said, "Hey, man, come make a little more money." And then they found out that I could play, and like the last place, "Hey, you want to come play on Saturday night or
Hmm.
come play on Friday night?" And yeah, sure, sounds great. Thanks for the gig. And all the while this is going on, I'm slowly trying to put together a band and slowly trying to immerse myself, around other musicians, and because, like I said, I wasn't used to that mentality of,
Hmm.
okay, the boats are gone, let's make this work. Um, but man, when they sat me down at that bar in Houston, I had been taking off too much time on the weekend nights to go play music, and they said, "Hey man, you're taking off too much time. We love you as a bartender. You make great drinks. You're fast. Everybody loves you, but you got to pick."
Hmm.
And that light bulb went off in my head from years prior to that. And Pat Green saying, go find the worst job you can find and do that until it's time for you to play music. And man, it wasn't the worst job. I know a lot of people that do worse, but getting home at 4:30 in the morning, and when this guy's going off, and just living a different lifestyle
Yeah.
completely, even from what I'm doing now. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And when they told me that, I just kind of grinned, and they kind of looked at me a little cockeyed, and they were like, "Huh?" I said, "I quit."
Yeah, they weren't expecting that, I bet.
No, not at all. And since then, I've seen them both, and they're doing great, and they've come out to shows, and I mean it's cool. But that was the last job I had.
Nice. So I love interviewing because there's always like words that that a guest will say that'll bring another question and then another and then another. You mentioned
Come on.
kind of dabbling with solo music. That's essentially how most artists start out is, just with your hands in an instrument and in whatever your passion, your creativeness. But you just mentioned going from that and then kind of integrating other band members and trying to create a full band. What was that process like for you? Because you're up to this point, you're dabbling. You're a solo artist. You're playing some here and there. Still going to school, but now you have other musicians that you have to kind of learn their processes, a different sound, different styles. So what was that like going from the solo artist to full band at first?
Man, it was like driving around in a soapbox car and then jumping into a Formula One. For me at that
Yeah.
time, it was just like pedal to the floor and hold on, stand in the middle and write the songs. And it was a team. You go from being the only person that anybody's looking at to one of four or five, and everybody's doing their thing collectively, pulling into the middle of the wagon wheel. And man, it was a dream. We're living in, a dream come true, and it still is. I mean, that's the one time that people get to see what we do truly on stage, is the one time that we are not working.
Mm-hmm.
Is probably the easiest way I can put it.
I love that.
That's the fun part. It's all the other stuff that we brave through just to get on stage and hope that somebody's watching. It's all the uncertainties. It's the van breaking down and still figuring it out just because you got to go to the next one. And
Mm-hmm.
hopefully you get one person.
I had a very good friend, John. His name was Uncle Dallas Greenhorn. He's from upper northeast Texas. He's passed now, but he was a good friend of mine, and he mentored folks like the Abbott brothers from Pantera and Ricky Lynn Gregg and Little Texas, and he used to say all the time that playing the music is the easiest part, and then everything else was work. But playing the music will always be the easiest part of what I do. And so you just said that to me, and I have goosebumps. My hair is like literally up on end because you just reminded me of him. In fact, there's his signature on my arm right there.
Man, I actually wrote with. That's amazing, and that it's nice to know that there are still there are people that were before us, and I'm praying right now that there are people that come after us that still have that mentality. Because if we were all in this, if I was in this for the fame, I would have already quit.
Absolutely. Yep.
The songs just keep growing, as do the people around you, and hopefully the people around you, and the process of you going and getting them or finding them or digging them up,
Mm-hmm.
if you will.
Yeah.
It's already there. You just got to chip away everything that's not there. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably one of my favorite things I've heard. The song's there. We just got to get rid of everything that's not the song.
Yep. It's such a good way to put it, man. I love that. So smart.